Here are 5 steps to deal with any kind of insecurity and essentially how to get over that thing. So first, become aware of it. That's the first step that you need to do. First, become aware of your insecurities. I feel like insecurities are a sense of a lack of confidence. So if you're like, what am I insecure about? Or I don't know what I'm insecure about. Think of things that you have a lack of confidence around, right? And it's very imperative that I would recommend to make a list and prioritize what are your insecurities. So 1 through 5, 1 through 10, whatever those things are. Some are more prevalent. Some of them you may have had since childhood, but some of them you don't really necessarily see it as an insecurity, but it may be that. So think of things that you feel like it's hard for you to do, goals that you may have that often seem hard for you to achieve, right? You just have a lack of confidence around that thing. So I definitely would say first become aware of those things and make a list of those things in order from most important to least important. Second, after you have made that list, it's imperative to figure out if it's a gravity problem or an anchor problem. So a gravity problem is something that you cannot change, right? You cannot change gravity. For example, my phone right here. If I drop my phone, it's always gonna fall unless I put something under it, like my hand. You cannot change gravity. Now an anchor, think of an anchor that holds down a ship or a boat. They're very heavy, that's how they hold down the big vessels, but they're also able to be pulled up. They just take a lot of strength. A lot of times we deal with a lot of insecurities and don't know how to come at them because we mix anchor problems with gravity problems with anchor problems. So for example, an example of a gravity problem maybe when it comes to insecurity is I have a big nose. You can't really change the size of your nose. I have a big forehead. You can't really change the size of your forehead, right? So think about things like that. Now, when it comes to anchor problems, it may be something such as I have a lot of fat or I am not smart enough to do said thing, right? Because technically you can change those things. You can go to the gym, you can read more books, you can do those kind of things. So it's very imperative after you make the list, now next to the list, right? Is this a gravity problem or is this an anchor problem? Now, after you figure out if it's a gravity problem or an anchor problem, we are going to build your confidence in this said thing with step 3. Now you're probably like, but I'm not confident in this thing, so how do I become confident in this thing? Think of it as a resume. So your insecurities are keeping you back, similar to if you're applying for a job. Let's say if somebody told you, hey, there's this job, it's gonna pay $500,000 a year, $500,000. Of course you'll be like, I mean, that sounds great, but am I qualified for that thing? And if you don't feel qualified for that thing, then you're probably not going to go after that job. Same thing with your insecurities. Insecurity is essentially to have a lack of confidence. So you're trying to build your confidence in this thing. So you need to build your resume, similar to if you have a long resume of things that you feel like proves that you can do these things. Oh, you applying to that job without even a question because you're like, I know I can get this job. Do you see my resume? I got all this stuff. Similar to when it comes to insecurities, you have to build up your confidence around these insecurities, right? I'm all for affirmations, all these great things, but I'm personally more of a doer. And I feel like you're not just gonna wake up one day and not be insecure about said thing. So after you made the list, after you figure out if it was a gravity or anchor problem, now you can figure out how to come at that thing, especially when it comes to gravity problems. I mean, when it comes to anchor problems, it's a little bit easier to do this because if there's something that is an anchor problem, you can figure out what are exact steps that are necessary, whether it's you going to the gym, whether it's you eating healthier, whether it's you, taking a course on how to start a business, whether it's you figuring out what are some things that can help grow your hair, maybe supplements you could take. I know a thing for a lot of hair loss or lack of retention of hair is vitamin D deficiencies, which happens during the wintertime. But I say that to say, building up your resume around said thing, right? That's very imperative for you to do. Do not think that you're gonna stop being insecure about something overnight. Like you need to build up the things to help you to confirm to you, hey, I am confident in this thing. Hey, I am going at this thing every day. And number 4, embrace that insecurity. And especially when it comes to your gravity problems, the things that you can't change. And I'm not saying embrace this thing because it sounds good or it's cliche to say. The reason why I say to embrace these things is because a lot of the times the insecurities that you've been trying to get over, it's hard for you to get over because you haven't embraced those things. First and foremost, it's still a part of you. Whatever insecurity you have is because of you. So stop trying to push that piece of you away and actually just appreciate it. For example, me, right? I've been going to the gym lately and I don't see a difference. Now I've been consistent. I've been trying to eat better, but I currently don't see a difference yet, but I'm still going to the gym. Why? Because I understand that I'm insecure about my body, but I also understand that it's gonna take time to change it. And I understand that I'm gonna have to start eating healthy for a while. And I'm gonna have to start going to the gym for a while for me to actually see a difference. But I'm embracing the fact that, hey, I don't really like how my body looks. So I'm gonna do things to change it. Instead of, if you don't embrace that thing, if I was only focused on how my body looked, right? Only focused on that insecurity, getting rid of that insecurity, I would have stopped going to the gym. Which happens to a lot of people because we are results driven. When you don't see results of something, you stop doing said thing. And so it's like you never really achieve that thing, and then you go into the spiral of that constant insecurity and so on and so forth. I say that to say, embrace it with the understanding that you're going to change, and think about the change that you're gonna have, right? I think about it all the time. Like, even though I don't see a difference in my body, and I take progress pictures just so, you know, I can look back a couple months and be like, wow, that's how I used to look. But I do that in a sense of, I know once I get the body that I look, by summertime, this body is about to look good. I'm telling you now, I'm warning y'all now, I'm about to be acting different. This body about to be looking good. And I know that. And I just, like, when I work out, that's one of the things I think about. Like, dang, when summertime come, I got a couple months, I'm gonna get this body together, right? I say that to say I'm embracing where I am now. I'm embracing the insecurity I have now, and I'm just thinking about like how differently my life is gonna be once I get over that thing. And even when it comes to things that you can't necessarily change, right? Now, things that you can't change when it comes to gravity problems, right? It may be your nose, it may be, you know, specific things like that. You have to also embrace those things as well and understand that those things are a part of you. Now, those things are a little bit harder when it comes to action steps because it's like, it's more of a mindset thing. But I think the first part of it is embracing it. It's who you are. It's a part of you. And at the end of the day, if you're not gonna love it, nobody's gonna love it. And even if people tell you they love it, you're not really gonna truly believe it because you don't love it. So I think that it's another aspect of embracing that said thing and doing things where you embrace that said thing. If you feel like you have a big forehead or you feel like you got a big head, if you keep wearing hairstyles that cover it, you probably still have that insecurity. So until you embrace that thing, you're not really gonna get over that thing, if that makes any sense. If you're always asking yourself, am I embracing it? Am I not? Are you hiding that thing? Ask yourself, because if you're hiding that thing, you're probably not embracing it. And that kind of goes into imposter syndrome. Not sure if you guys have heard of that before, but it's basically where you feel like an imposter. And a lot of times it happens when we're changing, right? So if you've never been to the gym before, you start going to the gym, you feel like an imposter. Am I supposed to be here? I don't know if I should be at the gym. I don't know or if it talks about, you know, you starting a new job and you want to apply to a new job. I don't know if I should be here. I think it's very imperative to understand that you're always going to have that and embrace that. And that goes into step 5 in embracing it, yes, but also having the understanding that you're always going to have a certain level of insecurity. I feel like sometimes what happens to individuals is that they have this idea that some people don't have insecurities. And so you're always trying to get to that point in that pinnacle of not having an insecurity. But I think you have to understand you always are going to have one to a certain extent. Like, they're never going to completely go away. No matter how beautiful you may think somebody is, how rich you may think somebody is, they always have a certain level of insecurity. Even people who get their body done, and you may say, oh, I want a body like that. It's no shade, but I've even seen it on like social media and stuff. When it comes to people getting their body done, somebody will make a comment like, oh my gosh, your body's so nice, you got your body done? Or who did you go to? Or something like that. And the conversation kind of becomes combative, contrary to if somebody was to say to somebody, oh my gosh, your body looks so good. What gym do you go to? That don't even sound like you know what I'm saying? Does that sound combative? But if I was to ask, oh, your body look good, when did you get it done? Or what did you get done? That sounds combative. Why? Partially because I think that person is, if they did get work done, they're probably insecure about that thing. I say that to say, don't think that you can purchase something and that it's just gonna go away. Like, it's something you're going to have to work through. If you do want to get your body done, that isn't to each its own. I just say that to say, don't have the mindset that you're gonna completely get over that insecurity, or just because someone got their body done or they paid for this or they paid for that they don't have insecurities as well. Even with starting businesses, like, yes, these people make millions of dollars now, a lot of, you know, businesses you may see, but at the same time, they they all started with zero. A lot of them started with nothing. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, understand you're always going to have a little level of imposter syndrome. You're not going to feel right starting something new. You're always going to have an insecurity, but embrace that thing with the understanding of like, once I get over that thing, this is going to feel regular to me. And also embrace the imposter syndrome, the insecurity, because at the same time, if you're always comfortable and you have no insecurities and you always want to feel like that, understand you're never going to change. That's a sign that you're not changing, because when you're trying new things, you're always going to feel a little like, but embrace that in a sense of, I do feel this way, but you know what? This may mean I'm really changing. If you're always comfortable and you're always confident with everything, that means you've done it too long, in my opinion, if you're always confident in everything. So going with the understanding that, you know, you're not always going to necessarily be confident completely in everything. And, you know, you're not always going to necessarily feel like you should be in certain places and certain spaces, but understand that you can make this your normality, but also don't live a life of just always craving normality. Live a life in sense of, you do want change. You do want to sometimes feel a little insecure, a little less confident, or a little bit of, you get what I'm saying? Like imposter syndrome, because that means you're in a new space. That means your life is changing. And ultimately that means that your life is probably going up and you're growing. So thank you guys so much for watching that video. I hope it helped anybody who feel like they're dealing with any kind of insecurity. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.